Hello, everyone. Welcome to After Duty Vets, where we discuss what life is like after the military. Hello, everybody. It's Bo. Today I want to talk a little bit about civilian leadership. A lot of times we struggle with civilian leadership when we get out because part of the big deal with them is a lot of civilian leaders don't want to make decisions. They're worried about getting fired. They're worried about, whether things are going to go right. They're wishy-washy. So that's something that we have to realize. We're taught in the military, you make the decision at the lowest level possible, and not out here. People are scared to make decisions. So that's one of the things that we have to deal with civilian leadership. A lot of times they'll jump the chain of command. They don't care. They'll go up 3 or 4 steps instead of going through the chain of command. And that can get frustrating at times because the problem could have been dealt with at a lower level if they had just come talk to you. If they had a problem with you, instead of coming talk to you, they go to their boss's boss and complain. I had that happen to me a lot, and it drove me crazy. It's just like, look, if you got a problem with me, come talk to me. Don't go up the chain of command. Don't go up the ladder. And there's really not a chain of command. They just jump it. They don't go to my boss. They don't come to me. They go up further. And it just drove me crazy. And they really don't understand our culture and why we're so persistent about the way we look at things. One thing that you need to do, though, is you need to voice your experiences at your leadership skills. If nothing else, the military has good leadership skills. Some people are bad at it, but we still have them. So voice your leadership skills. Take control. Take charge if they'll let you. A lot of times, they don't back their people. If I screw up, I've got my guy's back or girl's back. It doesn't matter. I've got their back if they screw up. I take care of the discipline. I don't run it up to others unless I don't have a choice. And I did that in the military, and I did that out here, and sometimes it didn't go over too well. They wanted to fire somebody. I'm like, no, you're not firing them for something stupid. Oh, we need to fire them. No, you're not firing them. Out here, you don't have that. They'll let you go in a heartbeat. A lot of times, they really aren't taught to be leaders. They're given the position because of who they are. And they like to blame other people instead of taking responsibility for their actions. When they screw up, they don't take responsibility. A lot of civilian leaders don't. And I'm sure that I'll get a lot of flack for this, but I don't care. I have come to the conclusion that a lot of people do not take responsibility for their actions. If I screw up, I will be one of the first ones to tell you that I screwed up. This is what I did. This is how I'm going to fix it. That's how I used to approach everything. Not out here. It's not going to work out here. They want to blame somebody else because they're always scared that they're going to lose their job because they screwed up. A lot of people have a lack of respect. They don't respect even the position. So that's a big problem that we have is people don't respect you. I might not like you, but I still respect you, and they don't seem to be able to do that out here. We've talked a little bit before about how the lines move. It depends on who you are, and that's one of the things that we have to deal with that drives me crazy. And I feel like this is becoming a gripe session, but it's just, these are all stuff that I've talked about to my clients, and they're like, yep, I struggle with that too. So I'm not alone in this. A lot of times they think that we're all assholes. All veterans are assholes. Can I be that crotchety NCO? Yes, I can be that crotchety old NCO if I need to. But also, I'm a mental health professional. I have to be compassionate sometimes. I know when to rip out the crotchety old NCO. But I also know when it's time to be compassionate and caring about people. And I had to deal with that when I first got a job here. My boss came over to me one day, and when I first got hired, he didn't hire me. The vice president hired me of the company. So he was the general manager, and he came over and he said, he used to have a thing. He'd pull up in his golf cart, and he'd pull up and he'd sit there and he'd pat his seat for you to come go riding with him because he wanted to talk to you. And, okay. So that's how he talked to people. He didn't call them to their office a lot of times. He just rode around his golf cart looking at things, and that's how he utilized his time, and it worked for him. I mean, he was a pretty good manager. I mean, I'll give him that. He was a pretty good manager. He sat me down and he goes, when I first started, he goes, you can't treat these guys the way you treated people in the military. I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, you can't be yelling at them. And I'm like, he didn't understand. So I looked at him, I said, so you don't want me to use the management skills that the Air Force taught me that were developed at Harvard? Because they're the management skills I learned. I know when to be a jerk and I know when to be compassionate, and I also know how to motivate people. He thought I motivated people by yelling and screaming at them. One of the things a lot of us learn is you motivate people by finding what motivates them. So, we had that conversation and he never bugged me about it again. He had misconceived notions about things. And the last thing that I want to talk about civilian leadership, and there's more stuff to come, but it's nepotism. You know what? Just because your dad owns a company don't mean you're right. Or your family's uncle's third cousin or whatever. I mean, it's just the nepotism, and they've got that position just because their Uncle Bob works up in HR, or the Aunt Sally works in the shop or accounts receivable or whatever. So nepotism is a hard thing that we have to deal with when we get out. And that's mainly in small family-owned businesses. And the one thing I do want to talk about is you have the skills, a lot of you have the skills to have your own business. So you don't have to deal with this. So you can run things the way you want to and do things the way you want to. And we'll get more into that later. So I hope I've helped you, and I hope that you have the life that you deserve. And until next time, thank you. Disclaimer, I'm a licensed mental health therapist in California. If you're searching for mental health help, please reach out to someone in your state. If you're within California, you can reach me at the email below. And if you're interested in coaching anywhere in the United States, you can reach out below also. These videos are for educational purposes only, and if you're thinking about suicide, please reach out and call 911.